I know most of you know me, but I see a lot of faces. I know you don't know me, so I'm going to just speak a little bit at the beginning about myself and the coalition. I'm Rosa de la Torre. I've been in New York City since 1981. I got here via San Antonio, Texas, Piedras Negras, Coahuila, Eagle Pass, Texas. So I've been doing tenant advocacy and organizing for, I don't know, at least 20 years, something like that, primarily in Chelsea. Thank you. I used to run a program when in 2009 my program got shut down. They gave me 10 days to shut it down, and I was as a single organizer, was helping not hundreds of tenants, thousands of tenants, because I organized buildings and individual casework and so forth. But as you know, even the world of the nonprofits, you know, they always find money for the people at the top, and they want to save money. They shut down the programs that are really helping the community. So when these explosions happened in El Barrio, I and the coalition members wanted to address it from the angle of the tenant advocacy and organizing and the horrible gentrification that the whole city is under for a few decades now. The barrio has been transforming, but the barrio still has a lot of regular standard rent stabilized buildings left, and these two buildings that went down were rent stabilized. So there, that means we lost lives, and obviously that's the greatest tragedy. But as a tenant organizer, I look at the fact that we've lost a lot of apartments. And they have already evacuated 7 other buildings around the 2 that came down. So that's a lot of families. And if there's an incident of a fire or something in a building and people have to be evacuated, trust me, even with organizers working with the building, it's going to take at least a year for people to come back, if they're going to come back. Right. Because this is their opportunity to gentrify, to deregulate. You know, they just see dollar signs and they don't care what happens to people. So Comrade Johnny and I were up in the barrio last Sunday. We were just talking to people and, you know, getting names. And let me tell you, it is very emotional. And you get to see the different layers of how it affects the community, obviously starting with the loss of life, the displacement. At that point, they were still missing people. But, you know, I talked to this young lady, very young lady, like what we used to call it junior high. What is it you call it now, middle school? So her mother sent her over to talk to me. And she's telling me how she misses her friends because they all lived in those buildings that were evacuated. And they all describe the same physical symptoms of chest pain, difficulty in breathing. Her mother actually had to lie down. She felt so weak. And I talked to a number of people that were passing by that described the same symptoms. So we're saying that this has to be declared an environmental emergency area. It also has a high population of public housing. The Taft and I think James houses are like on 118th Street. So I got to talk to a lot of people that live there, and they had the same symptoms. And some people are describing that the walls are all darkened and nobody's coming in to do any cleanup. We observed the police were all over, of course, and a lot of the blocks were barricaded. And cops were wearing masks, but nobody was giving a mask to the community. So we observed, we saw a sign that was directed us to the Red Cross. So we went over there. People, let's just go see what's going on. Well, it was full of cops. I'm telling you, if I had been in need, I don't know if I would have wanted to go in. I went in because we were there to observe and see what was happening in the community and see how we could help. So we walked in. We we see this young man sitting at the table. We start talking to him, and I said, we'd like to see how the process is, and if there's anything we can do to help. And he was very friendly. He starts to talking to us. He starts to sit down, opens his computer, and then comes the supervisor, and he said, no, you can't talk to them now. No, they have to go to the other room. They have to go register. So we got up and we went over there, and we sit there, or maybe 20 people in the room. We just sit there for a while, and nobody even talked to us, or say hello. What are you doing here? That's the kind of help, not good. We had a meeting on Wednesday together with the PPA and May 1st and Evolve, sorry. And so it was a great meeting. Even though it was late in the evening and the center is not that active in the evening, word's getting around. It was really important that all of you came out. I've heard from tenants who said, wow, there was a great meeting, those people, it was wonderful they were here. So it means a lot to this community too. And it's all related, and that's why I want to push for the fact that we bring in other tenant groups to come and join us, and that's what we're doing now. We're in the process. There is one statement going around that we Teresa and a group of us worked on, and I will translate it tonight. We will also be picketing and marching this Sunday. We're going to meet at 4 p.m. in front of the Con Edison site, 124th Street in Lexington. Please join us, and then we're going to march to the site on Park Avenue. Please, please, please do not leave without giving us your information, your email, your phones, so we can call you, so we can email you. We really need all of you to come out. This is, all issues are a woman's issues, and this is a woman's issue, and this is a tenant issue for every tenant in the city. We have to force them to give us a forum where the community can speak out, and we even really need to force the federal government to put money into the infrastructure and create jobs. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a wonderful evening. I also feel that I have learned a lot. You're right about all the causes are linked, and we have to come together to struggle. I love how you linked the issues that we had spoken about to Palestine, because I think it's a big issue in terms of when you're speaking to people who are not familiar with what's happening over there, and they feel like, well, that's over there and I'm over here, it doesn't affect me. So I really, really like your strategy of linking everything. I just want to add a little bit about what's happening in El Barrio. Teresa noted that I'm a little more dressed up than my usual, more casual way. And the reason I was a little more dressed up today was because I was attempting to go to a funeral service for one of the people that died. And people who know me also know that I can very easily get, lost. So I'm walking up and down East 120th Street looking for a church that I never found, because at the end I found out it was at East 115th. But there's nothing like going to the community, walking those streets, talking to people. As I'm going down the street asking, trying to find a place, one of the women that I stopped to ask, she turned out to be the sister of one of the people that died. And the only reason she was alive is because they had an appointment, and her sister was in the ground floor, and she came out to get a car with her granddaughter when the explosion happened. And the other thing that was of interest to me, having run into this woman this morning, is that we hear how the Red Cross is there, how Con Edison is saying they're giving money for people to be housed at least temporarily and so forth. Well, this woman was sent to a men's shelter. She was in a shelter with 400 men, and she would look older than I am, and she's sleeping on the train. So we have to come out. We have to be there for our sisters and brothers that are going through this situation in El Barrio now, because that can happen any place in the city, because the whole infrastructure is way too old. You know, they need to stop funding wars and use that money to reconstruct the infrastructure.
Women ran the world, we were.